Well, for fuck's sake. Wow, it's been a wild 2 weeks. Ashe! Greetings. Beyond Isaac Cappy, the liberation, and then the experiencing elements of his death. That's it. So for everyone who's been asking, I haven't had any other experiences with it. And for me, that's good. I'm not looking to do anything more than what I did. I know that there's some rumors that he's still alive, or there's witnesses out there. I'm highly skeptical. And if he is, I hope that whatever work I did got him out of a bad situation. And I admit that I could be induced to err into thinking him as passed over. But until he comes forward and declares himself not dead, which is probably as unlikely as him being alive, I'm going to go with what my instincts tell me. If you know me, and I have been around for a while, you know that I have an extreme focus in the case of Johnny Gosch. In a weird twist of fate, my own childhood might have almost become that of Johnny Gosch's as well. Interesting, where my fate seems to tie with others. I was almost abducted, but due to fate and circumstance, and I think some outside help, I was able to fight hard enough, long enough, to prevent myself from being pulled into a yellow, rusted van. And that's about all I can really remember of it. I believe it had like wood paneling, but that's a maybe. And that's a story well within itself. However, it was after that experience that I was told about Johnny Gosch. Or maybe Johnny Gosch happened right after that experience. I'll have to go back and double check that. But in and around the same times. And the story of him, and I think there was a kid named Eugene. A lot of the milk cartons. He was one of the ones they really put on the milk carton. Not the first, I don't think, but definitely one of the first. It scared me because I could put a name and a face to someone who was taken. And it just sticks with you. Or it stuck with me. I think maybe some other people who are my age, if they would have had the same experience and then learned of a fate similar to another young person around their age, you empathize. So when this internet thing, if you haven't heard about the internet, you ought to look into it, came about circa 1996, 1997, I promise you, the second search word I put in through Alta Vista or Dogpile was Johnny Gosch. Porn related topics wasn't until my third. The Goetia, Ars Goetia, was actually technically the first. Johnny Gosch was the second, because I wanted to know, what did the internet, what did the larger, perhaps, world at the time have to say about him? Not a lot. Yeah, I have a lot to say about the Ars Goetia. A lot of the same garbage and trash. Just utter fucking nonsensical bullshit. I was there to read the very beginning and thought, holy fuck, someone ought to change this shit. They didn't. Holy fuck. Oh man, someone planted some really shitty seeds. Oh well. But I've followed the Johnny Gosh case. I've been in an area where I am he all but admitted it. He all but out and out admitted it that he, as in we're talking Michael Aquino, Colonel Michael Aquino, bought Johnny Gosh from a ranch in Colorado and took him to Mexico, and that is where Johnny Gosh probably spent the majority of his teen into early 20s, is Mexico, in a compound down there, being raped, being turned into... He definitely didn't go to snuff film. I think Michael Aquino liked him enough that he didn't put him through any snuff film or any blood sports, which they do. For those of you who know me and know some of the other projects I work on, I do some physical things, and we're going to leave it at that. But I've been able to put information in the hands of others where I know that, putting young kids in, a pit full of dogs and betting on how long they last, that's a thing. It's a real thing. Yay for those people. You subhuman fucks. Sometimes I really do wish for a little bit of Christianity, because for those people, I really, really hope that there is an awful and just unending hell for them. The rest of Christianity I'm a little on the fence with, although my lineage of voodoo does embrace a lot of Christianity, and I'm still working out those issues with me personally. I've worked the kinks out on a lot of it. But with what's happened with Isaac Cappy, I kind of felt like I needed to get out of that. Then, of course, get into something just as dark, if not darker, because, that's how I relax. So, because my real introduction into the occult world, long before anything else, actually, technically, it was voodoo. That, again, is another story in and of itself. But, it's crazy. God, this religion, the Loa have been with me since fucking birth. Like, really. I think they even opened the door for the Solomonic magic, because that, outside an experience with the religion of voodoo, Haitian voodoo, which I am not initiated proper, but Dominican, Puerto Rican I am, it led me to an experience that brought me into Solomonic magic. And then the meeting of my first godfather, who really taught me at the end of a boot that this is not a system that you just do as you feel. You aren't worshiping demons. If you're not reading the Greater and Lesser Keys of Solomon, if you're not following the protocols, I don't know what you're doing other than just fucking jacking yourself off and then jacking yourself up, is essentially, because these are not things to be just laissez-faire. I think that's a term. Just don't be a lazy ass with it. I think laissez-faire may be like a trade term. Maybe discount that. Just don't be lazy. What I'm getting at is I went back to my perceived roots, and I said, okay, I'm going to get into some Solomonic current. I'm going to work the lesser key, and I'm going to go to Duke Agares, and I'm going to say, all right, because you are the one who makes runaways come back, you make those who stand still run, I'm going to assume that Johnny Gosh is at this point a runaway. His mother says that he came back to her and they had a couple-hour conversation before he had to leave again. I believe her. And so I wanted that opportunity to maybe get Duke Agares to say, I'll help. Maybe bring him back. Get him back in the spotlight. I mean, with Isaac Cappy gone, I think Johnny Gosch coming up and speaking out could definitely, shake things up for future upcoming, pun intended. Part of what Duke Agares does is he also destroys dignities. Not per se your dignity, although I have very little dignity left to destroy. But dignities such as those in positions of power and title, both spiritual and temporal. So I asked because, again, if you know me, I absolutely hate the social super elite. These people are the absolute dregs. I mean, we talk about the dregs of society, but really the dregs of society, the true welfare queens of society, the true lowest of the low, are not sleeping in the gutters and rolling around in hypodermic needles. No, they're living in multi-million, $100 million mansions, rolling around on the bodies of dead little kids. These are the true absolute dregs of society. They just happen to have the most noble of titles. So these are your dignities that I want destroyed. The other interesting thing about Duke Agares is that he also causes earthquakes. Do you see where I'm going with this? So did I ask for Epstein? No. But it is way too coincidental that I am using and working to get Duke Agares to do his fucking job as I have tasked. But at the same time, it was not but a day later that there was the arrest of Epstein, and then following that big earthquake, not the small one, but the big one that followed. There's some sort of connection here. Absolutely. Now, I have other work going with Andrew Malice to arrest that harpy Clinton, to bring down the Clinton criminal empire, and with it, the Obamas. I know, we get all like, but we love him. No, you don't love Obama. That man is not in any way, shape, or form who he claims to be. None whatsoever. I think we can be adults here. Now, just because he was born in Kenya, and he was, doesn't mean he's not a citizen. His parents were a citizen. His parents were CIA assets, but they were still citizens. The fact that he created or had created a fake Hawaiian birth certificate is lying to the people. The fact that that doctor died is also very interesting and I think needs to be investigated fully. That's murder. So, and Michelle Obama, I don't care. Like, Joan Rivers wasn't lying to you. It's a tranny. Big deal. Let's get over that. Like Joan Rivers said, let's get over it. All right? It's more than likely a man. Okay? I don't care. You shouldn't care. It doesn't matter. What's funny is that they had to sell the fact that Michael was Michelle to Democrats, to leftists, who were supposedly super tolerant. Why would they have to do that if they were so tolerant? These people are mentally ill. Me, not being a leftist, I love all people who aren't pedophiles. And I love all races. Obviously, I'm a priest of voodoo, which is a New World religion that is 1/3 African, 1/3 Indio, and the other third European, and then all other assortments of people. It's impossible for me to be a racist, really, honestly. Although, I will admit, some racial stereotypes are funny. But I never use them against anyone. It's just some things are the way they are. And if we embrace them, we're fine. So, honestly, gender, sexuality, not a problem. Don't love Obama because you're told to love him. Hate him for the right reasons. And the reasons that definitely have fucked up this country. So, going back to that, I am doing everything I can to get that horrible harpy put in chains and dragged in front of a military tribunal. And I've been working that nonstop. You go back to my past videos, it'll come up. So this is the work that I do. I don't care about, manifesting $1,000. I care about setting policy and precedent. That's where real power lies. So, in continuing my work with Andromalis, and then going to Duke Agares, I think what's happened is the Overton window has moved just a little bit, and there's a convergence of two separate works that are intersecting. One, Epstein's. All right? Close to Bill Clinton. Well, that's the Clintons. And do not for a moment think that Jeffrey Epstein is not going to, one, roll over to save his own skin, because that's what they do, or two, get suicided. Either one is an eventuality. Either one is going to implicate the Clintons. Done. That's going to happen. So here we are at the precipice of taking down one of the largest, nastiest, obscene, absurd, and villainous both acts and actors our world knows at present. And it comes with the aid of Solomonic magic. The earthquakes and Epstein. This is a thing because not only did the earthquakes happen in California, they happen in Southern California, which, well, that's where Isaac Cappy ran around. And it hit and affected those places, those people, those pedophile rings that he talked about in Southern California. Let that be a wake-up call to you monstrous fucks, that there are people who have not lost sight of you, who do not see you as a form of entertainment, who do not go onto YouTube just to get the skinny on something interesting. Because if it's not pedophilia linked with Satanism, you're not interested. Because I will inform you, Satanism isn't illegal. It's the pedophilia that's illegal. So if you're one of those people that thinks that Satanism and pedophilia must go hand in hand, you're kind of fucking the problem. Pedophilia, not Satanism, is the problem. I don't love Satanists. They're not really the most intelligent people out there. Now, I'm going to say, okay, because I don't believe in absolutes either. That's not to say that there aren't intelligent Satanists. But on a whole, I mean, these guys really, I mean, they can't fucking fart their way out of a wet paper bag. Like, they're ridiculous. So, higher-ups, are they really practicing Satanism as you know it? No, they're Luciferians. They are upper-level elite with real occultic knowledge. So, in this way, the majority of YouTube can't even understand the occultic equivalency of what's actually happening. Satan is like a dirty little fuck goat running around biting and putting his dick into anything he can. Lucifer, on the other hand, is extremely sophisticated and suave and corrupts because the light that he emulates is so seductive and golden that you're blinded by it. You don't see all that it's truly about. You are enamored. You are given to the illusion. Where Satan in that entity is just a carnal little fuckboy, in truth. So, in getting behind this work, in getting behind this moment, this opportunity that has presented itself, because that earthquake should be a wake-up call for everybody. No one should be able to walk away and say, that didn't mean anything. The coincidence, which I don't believe in per se, the timing, everything about it says that there is a shakeup, that the energetics, the harmonics of this world and of this society are ready to be broken apart. The old world that we've known, this fabricated society, this barely standing, propped up illusion of authority is ready to crumble. And in the dust and on the back of what this was, something new can be built. But only if we take the opportunity. If you want to pull a tarot card, the Tower is the absolute best card for this, because it shows that crack of inspiration, the sudden shudder of lightning and thunder, okay? That is the earthquake, not only of the physical world, but of the mind and of the spirit. And Duke Agares, I believe, showed us that through the power and being compelled by that which is most high. Even these entities, which in truth really are infernal, can be put to good use. Thus is really what is most marvelous and most amazing about Solomonic magic. That even that which is vile, even that which is sometimes absurd, can still, in the right mind and in the right hands and with the right intentions, with thoughts towards God and the higher principles, all things, even vile things, can be made to build the kingdom of earth, the kingdom of heaven upon the earth. Hands of flesh building the kingdom of heaven. Thus was the entire story of King Solomon to begin with. So, what I'm asking is, do not let this opportunity slip away. Put energy towards this. Epstein arrested. Epstein being looked at. More charges filed. The Trump administration very much behind this. I don't see him as the God Emperor. I don't see him as a Messiah. I see him as a flawed human being who has the balls, the spine, and the gigantic fucking ego to make America really, really a capitalistic paradise of free market capitalism. And let's fucking get America's balls back. Are we perfect? No, not in the fucking slightest. We never were. We never will be. Are we the best? It's debatable, whatever, but I fucking love this country. And I love what this country can do for other countries, and I love the beacon of light that this country is, because it is true. What happens to America happens to the world. So we are in a situation, whether you like it or not, we are given this opportunity to set and lead by example. And is he a pompous asshole? Yeah, great. Pompous asshole, as long as he leads us and points us and says this is another opportunity for a golden age, I'll take pompous asshole over child fucking pedophile, Luciferian cannibal, necrophiliac any fucking day, which is what you were about to have. If more of, I don't even like to use the word Democrat because they're not really even Democrats. This whole party system thing has been really convoluted because, trust me, there are a lot of neocon rhino Republicans that suck ass just as much. But whatever this network, let's call it deep state now, whatever cabal name that you are most comfortable with, that is what has seized what once was the Democrat Party and has put the ideology of this leftist lunatism into the minds of weak-willed, mentally imbalanced individuals who are now willing to march to have their freedoms taken away, where 30, 40 years ago, those same people were marching and dying in the streets to keep their freedoms. Do you see the twist? It's real obvious if you got half a brain. So, closing. Whatever you feel, whatever, I would go straight to God. I would go straight to the highest of the high. You don't have to give it a form because it doesn't necessarily have a form. It is all things. And I would just pray every day that this moment is not wasted. That we have one of the most prolific, powerful, influential pedophiles now. And the media is doing its absolute best to focus on anything else other than Epstein. That should tell you something as well. We had this opportunity to grill that fucker, to grill that rat fink bitch over the coals, and he is absolutely going to turn. And it is time to take that and run with it. Bring back public executions. Bring back military tribunals for treason. And let others watch and see what happens to the people that support ideologies, business practices, and politics that are based in the blood of the innocent and performed on the back of the exploited. In that way, the psychopaths will understand that it is not them that have wormed their ways into power, that it is truly the people who have the power. The power base is those who come together and say no more. How long will this go on? Until the rest of you decide that you can't have it. That you can't live your life knowing that this shit happens. I'm there. I've been there for fucking 20 years. I've been there for almost 30 fucking years in my own way. So, I will continue to push. I will continue to use the skills that I have to make this happen. I will continue to do what I did before and in tribute to Isaac Cappy because he was working for the same things. And if you have the balls, you have the guts, you have the brain, you have the spine to do the same, I invite you. I invite you to join with me in either true solidarity or in like-minded partnership, wherever you feel as though you're best suited, and push to bring down a global human trafficking network who targets children in particular. Holy fuck, we live in a fucking world where there is a global pedophile network. Let that sink into your fucking brain. How okay are you with that? I am not okay with that. I am so not okay with that. I have to hold back violence. Acknowledge that this is real. Acknowledge that everything that has been talked about in terms of a nonstop, never actually been ended global human slave trade is still going on. And the same people who ran Irish indentured servants, who ran African slaves, who ran Indian slaves and profited are the same families who are still doing it today. You wonder how people become unimaginable trillionaires? Yeah, it's called human fucking trafficking. So, for all you sheep who can't fucking figure that out, I don't give a fuck about you. Go fuck yourselves. But for the lions, give me 5 lions over 5,000 fucking lambs any day. This is a call to lions. Fuck you, lambs. I hear that your masters have said you're good enough to go to the slaughterhouse. Enjoy your trip, bitch.